We have already looked at two of the Diary of the Wimpy Kid movies, the first one and Roderick Rules. But does Dog Days hold up amongst those two great films? I'm not so sure, but let us know down in those comments down below if you also enjoy this one as well and about as much as you do with the first two. Because for me, I don't have the same enjoyment with the third film. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it's more cringier. I don't know if it's because it's a little bit more cheesier than the previous two. Or is it just because you just move and gravitate towards Roderick Rules and Diary of the Wimpy Kid 1 because they're nostalgia, they scream nostalgia, whereas the third one, I don't quite get that same hit. However, what I must say though is, that third installment, which I'm slightly unsure about, is still 10 times better than practically most of the sequels, slash spin-offs, slash remakes that they made after this point, mainly long haul.
First rule of the road trip is the driver is the DJ.
That's great, because I'm the driver.
Also, I do have a little bit of sympathy for this film in particular, because they grew up, the actors, the kid actors from the first two films grew up to be teenagers in this film. And they had to make this their last film because those kids kept on getting older and older, and they had to basically do what the Harry Potter movies had to do back to back to back to back, trying to fit in as many movies as they possibly could out of that group of kids that they'd selected for the previous two movies. And hence why they couldn't make any more, because those group of kids were then too old because they were like teenagers to play those roles again, unless they were going to move the franchise forward where they're a lot older than their characters are in the books, in which I don't think would have worked. So they had to rush out those films, so I get this film might not have been as clean and as polished as they wanted it to be because they had to rush it through. And I do think there were some really cool moments in this film, and I do think it is a solid movie, but compared to the other two, I do think it lacks slightly behind, as I think that this one showed a journey of Greg wanting to get with Holly Hills, somebody they'd been chasing around in the second film, and now has become more mature and wants to, you know, maybe start a relationship with Holly Hills, and that involves not being at school because it's in the summer, this particular film. So that's why I think they kind of get away with not having Greg and not having the rest of the group, like Raoul and whatever, at school, because they probably look older than they're meant to. Obviously there's a scene, I think, at the beginning of the film where they're at school waiting to leave sort of thing, but not having it be based in school was probably a great idea. This allowed them to go to these different places that you wouldn't have seen these characters go to in the previous two movies. Like they go to a swim park, they go to a country park, they go to all these different places, and we're seeing Greg on this journey of not only spending too much money, which he gets a fucking right bollocking for, spending too much money on stuff in a country club. You get the idea that Greg could be going to some sort of military school and joins up with the Boy Scouts with his dad. And you also get this thing of Rowley taking Greg on holiday, which goes terribly wrong. So there is some great moments within this film, and I do think it is funny, but quite cringe in parts. That's the part there that pushes me away from this film more than the other two, because the other two are funny and are family funny. These ones come across as more cringy moments within this film, but they're still enjoyable. However, out of all the cool moments within this particular movie, it is worth mentioning that the biggest and best moment is literally Roderick singing Baby by Justin Bieber. Again, cringy moment, but works. Like baby, 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 oh. I think that this movie as a whole was brilliant, and I think there's not much else I can really talk about. Yes, there's funny moments in the film, and if you've seen it before, you'll understand that it's probably not as good as the previous two. But I can't sit there and despise this film because I actually like a lot of what this movie brings. Before we jump back into this video, guys, please do us a massive favour and smash that subscribe button, because you do not want to miss a thing this week, next week, and the week after, because we've got tons and tons of content planned for you guys, and you can do us a massive favour by smashing that subscribe button, joining the community, getting updates to all the latest videos from the YouTube shorts to the actual videos. It is well worth it, completely free, and you will not regret it. So to summarise Dog Days, for me, this is easily a 7.5 out of 10 and a great film. Let me know your thoughts down in those comments down below, and if you haven't yet seen our review on Roderick Rules, then click now to go give that a watch.